Happy New Year, Rams. I'm Gideon Aigner.
And I'm Julie Baltazar. Welcome to a brand new semester of Cooks. We have a lot in store for you tonight.
Ain't that the truth? In tonight's episode, we will catch you up on the latest news within the food scene here in Fort Collins. From new restaurants opening up to a local food instructor gaining recognition in the community.
You won't want to miss it. After that, I will show you various ways to make ramen in my new segment, Cost Cookers.
Then prepare to get your chef hats on. Julie and I will show you 3 exquisite recipes you can make for your friends and family this season.
In addition, our Cooks team will hop around and try some of the most popular boba places in Fort Collins. And to end tonight's show, Gideon and I will put our taste buds to the test to see if we can tell the difference between U.S. snacks and their Mexican counterparts.
All this and more tonight on CTV Cooks, starting now. Fort Collins is now down a Cajun restaurant. The Lost Cajun was a very popular eatery that was here in Fort Collins for 8 years. The time has come, however, for franchisees Jessica and Ryan Floyd to replace it with a restaurant of their own, Bighorn Barbecue, which is going to be serving fresh steaks and burgers. Keep a lookout for when it opens on 331 South Meldrum Street.
Prepare to be egg-cited. Sexy Sammy's is coming to Fort Collins. Owned by Brian Seifrid, the same person who started Wing Shack, this restaurant is bound to be another trendy spot to get a fresh basket of tenders and fries. Sexy Sammy's has already opened in Greeley, but Fort Collins will serve as the 3rd location in North College Avenue. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely excited to try this one out.
As Julie and I were filming and walking around recently, we found yet another restaurant that's opened up on Elizabeth Street. Cook Click Cafe is an Asian fusion restaurant that combines all sorts of flavors and culinary techniques. As a quick snack, we decided to try their signature crispy avocado and chicken bowl. This is a great place to try out if you are looking for something a little different.
A food instructor is gaining recognition in the Fort Collins community for teaching kids how to cook healthy, affordable meals. Sapna Von Reich is a nutritionist and mother who grew up in India. She works in Food for Life, a health program designed by physicians and dietitians that help people develop better habits when it comes to food. Reich has taught a variety of classes that are vegan and plant-based. She and other nutritionists are bringing change in the community.
The Food Bank for Larimer County is coming back to host its 26th anniversary of Empty Bowls on February 16th. Hundreds of bowls are being crafted by Poudre School District students and artists. The purpose of this is to raise funds for the county's hunger relief programs. There will be a wide variety of soups and treats to try out, and you'll even get to take a bowl home with you as a souvenir. To learn more about this event, you can visit foodbanklarimer.org.
It's time to keep calm and get your mac and cheese on. Downtown Loveland is hosting its 2nd annual Mac and Cheese Melt-Off tomorrow. Enjoy live music and social time as local restaurants come together and attempt to make the best beer and mac and cheese pairing. The best part is, you will get to be the judge of it all. Go to visitloveland.com to learn more.
And with that final piece of news, Rams, it's time for a break. Keep hanging, because after this, Julie will give some noodleific tips on ramen.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back. Instant ramen is a popular staple in workspaces and dorm rooms. After all, it is cost-effective and easy to cook. Sometimes you need a little upgrade though. And no, I'm not just talking about flavor packets. In this segment of Cost Cookers, I've got 3 different ways you can turn your ramen into something restaurant-worthy. Let's take a look. What's up, Rams? I'm your host, Julie, and welcome to my new segment, Cost Cookers, where I'll be showing you guys 3 different ways to spice up your meals while still staying within a college budget. Today, I'll be working with the college staple, ramen, which you can get in blocks of 6 at the grocery store, or you can get individual packs at the on-campus stores like Lake Street Market or Cam's Lobby Shop. Let's jump right into it. Before cooking your ramen, make sure to cook your protein of choice beforehand if needed. We'll be adding it to the ramen after we assemble the bowl. Once your protein is ready, you can get started on the main recipe. First, bring a pot of water to a boil and add your ramen block. While that cooks, add your ramen seasoning to a bowl. This is optional, but I added about a teaspoon of soy sauce and a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil as well. At this point, your ramen should be cooked through, so pour your ramen and boiling water into the bowl and mix thoroughly to fully incorporate every ingredient in the broth base. Wash your vegetables of choice and throw them on top of the bowl. If you like your ramen creamier, I like to add a handful of shredded cheese on top, but this is also optional. And since I'm using an egg as my protein, I cracked it right on top of my noodles and warmed it up in the microwave for an additional 7 to 8 minutes to cook my egg through, but to still have a softer yolk. This meal is quick and easy, especially if you're in a rush. All in all, this took me about 15 minutes to make. I just popped this in the microwave for about 6 minutes, but you can keep microwaving it as long as you need to, just for the egg to fully cook. This is perfect for if you're on a time crunch or if you're just feeling a bit lazy after a long day. For our next recipe, we're actually going to be meal prepping. We're making ramen in a jar. For this recipe, you'll need a mason jar, a block of ramen, protein of your choice, any vegetables of your choice, soy sauce, sesame oil, and sriracha. So before you start, make sure to crush up your ramen block ahead of time. It's easy to do this in the bag, and you can crush it up just so that the bits are small enough to fit within your mason jar. For the actual jar broth base, you can get started by throwing in your ramen seasoning as well as anything else you want in your broth. I'm doing about a 1/2 teaspoon of soy sauce and a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil. Since I like my broth a bit spicy, I like to squirt in a bit of sriracha as well, and I just add as much as I like, which is around 1 tablespoon. Now that you've got your broth base all done, toss in your protein as well as your vegetables of choice. For this recipe, I'm using shelled edamame and chicken. Depending on the protein and vegetable, make sure to do any required preparation beforehand before throwing it in. After that, you can pour in your crushed ramen, top it off with green onion, and it should be all good to go. You can set aside your prepped ramen jar until it's ready for use. All you have to do is fill your jar with boiling water, and if you don't have access to that, cold water will do. Just take off the lid and throw it into the microwave for about 4 to 5 minutes. Be careful while taking it out, it will be pretty hot. After letting it sit for an additional minute, mix everything up and it will be ready to eat. For our final recipe, we'll be making stir fry, which is a bit more difficult, but don't worry, it can be as fancy or as simple as you want. First, bring a pot to a boil before throwing in your ramen block. While that cooks, quickly wash your vegetables and heat up about a tablespoon of sesame oil in a pan. When your pan is hot, throw in your vegetables and sauté them for about 2 to 3 minutes before throwing in your protein. Continue to sauté your protein until it's fully cooked, and then slowly add in your teriyaki sauce. I started off with a tablespoon and gradually added more until the flavor was to my liking. And I also added 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of mirin for a sweeter, tangier flavor. At this point, your noodles should be ready. With a fork, remove your noodles from your pot and transfer them over to the pan, mixing everything thoroughly. Once the sauce is fully incorporated with the noodles, your stir fry will be ready to eat. And there you have it, 3 time-friendly and budget-friendly meals made out of a college staple. You can get as creative as you want with these recipes, and measurements can be adjusted to your liking. Ramen on its own can get pretty old pretty fast, but hopefully with these recipes, it gives your day-to-day meals a bit more variety as well as more satisfaction. Back to the studio. These recipes were super fun to try out. I hope all of you watching from home were able to learn a couple of good tips.
And I mean, honestly, like I don't have ramen too horribly much, and so when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good way to spice it up.
Yeah,
like,
ramen's such a versatile noodle that you can do literally anything that you want with it. It's just so easy and time convenient.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more than a meal for when you're sick.
Yeah, especially like when you're super hungry, but like you don't have the time or the strength to really go through with making a whole meal. You can just pop that in the microwave for like 3 minutes.
Exactly. And with that, Rams, it's time for another break. The pot is still cooking though, so don't go away just yet. After this, I'll show you how to make a classic mac and cheese recipe.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Mac and cheese and chili are some of the best comfort foods out there. But what if I told you that you can get the best of both worlds all in one pot? It's called Chili Mac, a family favorite that's both cozy and a little spicy.
Hello everybody. While I was back home, I relearned a little bit what it means to have a quick and easy meal, especially now that I have modern conveniences again. So what we're going to be looking at today is a simple but effective meal. You can add to it, you can take away from it, but it comes down to the basics. Chili Mac.
For this recipe, you're going to want 1 can of chili, a box of mac and cheese, at least 2 tablespoons of butter, along with garlic, onion, salt, pepper, cumin, and chili powder to taste. First, you're going to skin your garlic, which you're going to do by smashing it with the blade of your knife. Then you're going to take your garlic and you're going to want to mince it. Not too fine, but also not too rough. Following this, you're going to want to roughly chop about 1/4 of an onion.
Now that we have our garlic and onion cut, we're going to start to warm up our pan.
And from here, you add your preferred cooking lubricant, mine being butter. We're going to put a small sliver of onion into the saucepan, and once we can hear it cooking, we are going to add the rest of our onion. Once the onion is translucent and soft enough that you can cut it with a wooden spoon, then you can add your garlic. You don't want the garlic to be in there for too long, otherwise it will burn. While y'all have a minute, heat up a pot of water for the mac and cheese. Once it is at a boil, you're going to want to dump in the pasta. And we're going to cook that for about 8 to 10 minutes. At this altitude though, we're going to do that for about 12. Give your pasta a quick stir to make sure it doesn't clump up, and then onto the chili. Now we are going to take our chili and we're going to scoop this in the same pot that we have the onions and garlic in. Once you have the chili in the pot, you're going to stir it all together until it is thoroughly incorporated. Now, while we have the chili cooking here, we're going to add a little bit of ground cumin, sprinkle it in. A little bit of cumin goes a long, long way. Next, we're going to add a small amount of chili powder, again to taste. Now that we've got the chili incorporated and the pasta is done, we are going to strain the pasta. I did record a whole segment on how to make mac and cheese, but then while editing I realized it would be simpler to just say, make mac and cheese as it says on the box. Now that we have our macaroni here, we are going to get this into the pot of chili. Then we're going to mix all of this together. And now that we have this all nice and incorporated, we can take this and put it right in a bowl, ready to eat. Now, you could add or take away just about anything you want from this. I suggest adding a salad to make it a little bit healthier, but you can do what you want. One thing's for sure though, this is a good meal for if you're trying to have something easy and flavorful. Bon appetit! Now, this recipe is just great for leftovers, and it'll keep you feeling full for days. And my dad, he always used to make this for me like twice a month when I would be at his house, and it was amazing. And this was actually my first time making it myself.
Really?
Yeah.
It looked really good.
It turned out really well. Now, I will warn everybody, it does have a little bit of a kick to it. Grandma said that she'd try to tone down the chili powder next time, but it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, well, I like a lot of spice in my food. I like it to be a bit spicy, so I wouldn't mind having the original ingredient ratios, but perfectly okay.
Yeah.
And now it's time for another break. Don't tune out just yet, though. We have a snack from a whole different country to try.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
And we're back.
Thanks for tuning in. Fort Collins is a hotspot for trying foods from all over the globe. Our Cooks team wants to give these places more recognition. So with our new segment, Global Eats, you will come along on adventures with us to try new foods and experience new flavors.
For our first journey, Julie took me to try a special Taiwanese drink, and it's one that I needed a little bit of convincing to try out.
How long have you been avoiding it?
For quite a few years now, since freshman year in high school when I first heard about it.
Well, I'm really glad that I managed to convince you into trying it out because it's one of my favorite things to drink.
All right, well, let's see how it was. Let's take a look.
What's up, Rams? Today I'm here with my co-host, Gideon Aigner.
What up?
He's going to be trying boba today for the first time. And how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good. I've heard a lot of good things over the years. They look like peeled grapes. Should be pretty fun.
Well, boba's my favorite drink, so if you don't like it, it's really going to hurt my feelings. But do you think we should go right into it?
Yeah, let's hop right in.
Let's go!
Woo.
For our first location, we'll be going to Ding Tea, which is located right off of campus just across the street from Moby Arena. They have a variety of flavors and a variety of drink-based types. They have the classic milk tea, freshly brewed tea, fruit teas, slushy teas, and an assortment of lattes, fruit juices, even yogurt drinks like Yakult.
All right, so what exactly is boba tea?
It's an awesome question, Gideon. Boba is typically a cold beverage made with tapioca pearls, milk tea, and ice. Its official origins are unclear, but many think that it originated from Taiwan after rising to popularity in the 1980s. There's two main types of boba teas: fresh teas without milk and milk teas, which are teas made with powdered milk or fresh milk. Tapioca pearls are the most common and popular topping, but there are others as well, such as egg pudding, green grass jelly, crystal boba, and so much more.
It's hard to chew.
Very chewy.
Are you supposed to chew it?
Yep.
Okay.
What flavor did you get?
I got the signature milk, which is pretty good. It's chewy and squishy in the way that like a foam ball is squishy. It's kind of interesting to like have that all of a sudden just in your mouth, but it's pretty good.
We're now at our second location, Wonder Tea, which is right by campus. It's on College Ave. They have quite a few drinks for us to try here, and how are you feeling about this next round of drinks?
I'm ready to go. This last one, the one over at Ding Tea, that was really, really nice. So I'm ready to try out some more and see how it goes.
You gonna switch up your order?
Yes. I got a horchata smoothie with some boba in there.
And I got a cheese foam strawberry jasmine tea with the crystal boba. I decided to switch it up.
All right. What exactly is cheese foam?
So cheese foam, it's similar to like a sweet cream foam. It's got milk and cream cheese. They blend it up together to make a foam. They put it on top of the drink. And then they add a little sprinkle of salt. So it's kind of like a salted sweet cream type of deal.
The horchata, the flavor works really well. The texture works a little bit better, for me at least. And then, yeah, I'd have it again.
Now for our final location, we'll be topping it all off at Kung Fu Tea.
ended up getting a chai milk with some Oreo in it. What about you?
I ended up getting a honey milk tea with normal boba and some egg pudding, which I'm really excited about. I've only had it about one other time, but it's pretty good, pretty creamy. It's an interesting texture, but I enjoy it. It's kind of like a flan. How's the Oreo texture holding up in your drink?
Well, it's taking a minute to like fully integrate, so for a second I got a little bit of dust. But then you just get the chocolate.
Oh.
And it honestly goes surprisingly well with the chai flavor.
Really?
Yeah, you wouldn't quite expect that.
I really like the egg pudding in this. It's super soft.
Mm-hmm.
Super soft, almost like a little bit between like creamy and like jelly-like, so it's a nice little like balance between both. This is definitely a good dessert. This is definitely an awesome place to finish off. Do you think we should have your final verdict on boba in the studio?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's have the final verdict back at home.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, boba's getting pretty popular in Fort Collins, and the pearls make for a really interesting topping. I wonder how it'd be on something like ice cream or cereal.
What do you think? What's your final verdict?
Okay, so I was not expecting the texture of the pearls themselves, because it just like, you get it in there, you get the straw, and all of a sudden you got random pearls in your mouth, and you're like, okay, what is this? But in and of itself, it's pretty darn good. It is a bit of a hard sell, but once you try it out, I like it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to eat. It's just like I don't know, if I'm feeling a little bit bored and I don't want to just sip on something without thinking about it, I like boba because it catches me off guard enough to like remind me that I'm like having something that I'm actually supposed to enjoy. Exactly. So it's like one of my favorite sweet treats. But there's another that's quite the classic. Can you tell us about it, Gideon?
Okay, so when people ask what their favorite breakfast foods are, I feel like there are only 3 options that I really hear. You have waffles, pancakes, and cereal, but what about French toast?
I mean, you aren't wrong. It is fluffy, sweet, and amazing on the weekends.
Exactly, which is why I decided to make a very special treat. My grandma calls it French toast casserole, and it's a great dish that you can share with your family and friends.
Now what we're going to want to start off with is preheating the oven.
Hopefully they just...
So we're going to hit bake, set it to 350, and make sure it's preheating. Now, you may be asking yourself, Gideon, what are you preheating for? Well, the answer to that is a classic. This is something you can serve to a large amount of people, and they'll all be happy. French toast casserole, baby. For this one, you're going to need canola spray, milk, French bread, salt, eggs, sugar, butter, vanilla, and cinnamon. Now what you're going to want to do is coat your pan. Make sure that you do not overdo it. Next, we're going to take our bread and we're going to cut it into roughly 2-inch pieces. Next, we're going to want to cut our bread in half lengthwise. Next up, we're going to try to get this all fitting into the pan as best we can. So we're going to try to want to put it up with the exposed part here, not the crust facing out. If you have the crust facing out, then that means that the mixture we're going to make here in a minute is going to splash, and that's not going to be good for anybody. To start making our liquid mixture, we're first going to crack 6 eggs into a big bowl. Next, you're going to want to beat the eggs. Grandma and I used a little bit of an older-fashioned hand mixer, but you can use whatever you want. Once we're done whisking our eggs, we're going to want to put 3 cups of milk into a measuring cup. Once you have your milk in the mixing cup, you add 4 teaspoons of sugar, followed by 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we're back to the wets with 1 1/4 tablespoons of vanilla. Next, we're going to take a spoon here and just stir, make sure that everything gets incorporated, no sugar, just sticking on the bottom. And then we'll gently pour our milk mixture in with our eggs. After that, we're going to mix all of these ingredients very thoroughly so that we ensure that it's all a singular color. Next, what we're going to want to do is pour our mixture over all of the bread. Make sure that your mixture is an easy pour container, and also make sure that the bread is evenly coated all around the pan. Once you have that done, then you're going to want to flip over all of the bread, having the soft part down in the liquid, like this. Then you're going to want to cover this in saran wrap and throw it in the fridge overnight. In the morning, you're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. While the oven is preheating, we're going to make a side of bacon. Then we'll take the casserole out of the fridge, remove the saran wrap, and put it in the oven for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, or once the casserole is golden brown, you're going to want to take that out of the oven. Once it's out of the oven, you'll add some butter, and then you'll sprinkle on some cinnamon. Now it's time to serve this up. This may not be the quickest recipe in the world, but it is certain to be able to satisfy a large amount of people at once. With overnight preparation, you're able to get it done the night before, and you don't have to worry about breakfast for a lot of people in the morning. So, sit back, relax, and bon appetit!
That looked delicious. I would love to make this sometime.
And it was delicious. And Grandma recommended to make it sometime for like when people are sleeping over or something. But I bet we're making you all hungry with all these recipes. But we aren't quite finished yet. We have one more special treat coming right up after the break.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
And now it is time for what you've all been waiting for. In this final part of the show, Gideon and I will put our taste buds to the test. We'll see if we can tell the difference between Mexican and American snacks.
Here's how it's going to go. Julie and I will have a Mexican and American flag. We're going to try out the snacks laid out here on the desk, and we'll see if we can find out where they came from.
Let's get started then. The first thing we have is a popular drink, Coke, but some claim it tastes different from American Coke.
Yeah, let's...
Okay, you get the blue, I get the...
Okay, I'm feeling that.
I think I need something else to compare it to.
Yeah, let's give this a try.
This one's the Mexican Coke.
I feel like this one's the Mexican Coke. So let's
We're
put
at a
Mexican Coke
crossroads.
here, American Coke. Oh, okay. We'll just put our votes there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And okay,
let's see what it
so
is. Oh.
okay, so the U.S. Coke was here, and the Mexican Coke was on this side.
Okay, so...
All right. Feeling that.
Pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Pinguinos versus Hostess cupcakes, and oh goodness, these are basically identical.
Okay.
Okay. Bon appetit.
Okay.
That's pretty good. A little bit drier than I would expect a Hostess cupcake to be. I feel like the blue cake, the blue plate is the Hostess.
I can't tell.
Oh,
Like-
that's fair.
They taste the same to me. But I'll go with this. I'll go with the blue one being Hostess.
Yeah, and this one would be the Mexican.
Oh!
Oh, crikey! Okay, so the
We
blue
mixed those
plate
up.
was the
Interesting.
Mexican, and pink
Well,
was the Hostess.
It's nice to know that Hostess makes dry cupcakes.
Oh, lovely.
For our final one, we have Cheetos. We'll see if we can taste the difference.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll try blue first.
Okay, I'll try the pink.
All right. So
Just like looking coloration-wise, this looks like a...
yeah, that looks like a
American
Cheeto.
Cheeto.
This one's kind of got like a brown reddish dust on it. Okay. This one's got a little bit more spice to it. I'm gonna try one of these.
That one's the Mexican one.
That one's the Mexican one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Yep, these are the Mexican Cheetos here in the blue bowl.
Yep.
All right.
So we've made it to the end of our show. I guess it's true what they say. Time flies by when you're having fun.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and tune in to the next episode for more adventures and delicious eats.
Stay fresh, Fort Collins.